Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Thursday, so it's my story day. This is a little bit longer, so I don't mind telling it if you haven't heard this. I think it's important, especially for those of you in leadership positions, but it could pertain to anybody once you understand the relationship between yourself and the community. Once there was a sister and brother walking in the fields, and they saw their father coming. Now, it would have been no big deal, except that the father was dead. So they were so stunned. And the father motioned to them to follow him. And I don't know about you, but if my father came back from the dead and motioned me to come, I'd follow him. And they did. And he took them over to a part of the field where there were stairs descending down. And so he motioned to follow, and they went. And then he took them to the center of what was a deserted village and told them to hide behind the bushes over there and just watch what happens and don't come back. Don't come out until I come back and get you. Well, that's what my father would say to me if I was in the underworld with him. I'd listen. And they did. All of a sudden, once the father departed, the brother and sister watched as a whole village came out, made a circle, and then parted, and then what looked like a most important member, a chief, came into the center of the circle, but they could only see one side of him. And it was completely covered with maggots. And the whole community began scraping his body, trying to get the maggots out. And when they were finished, the chief left, and they left, and the brother and sister, they waited. And then when it became dawn, the community came out again. They made a circle, and again they parted, and this important chief, or whoever it was, came to the center of the circle, but this time they could only see the other side of him. And this side was golden, and the whole community polished it to make it shine as bright as the sun. It was amazing. And when they'd finished doing that, the circle opened, the chief left, and then the community left. And when everyone was gone, the father came back, and he said to the son and daughter, "So what'd you see?" And they repeated exactly what they saw, that the first time they saw the community open up, and they saw the guy had maggots, and they scrubbed it clean, and then they waited till dawn, and then the guy came back, and he was turned to the other side, and it was golden, and the community polished that till it was shining like you couldn't believe. And then he left, and the community left, and that's what we saw. And the father said, "Indeed, indeed." And then the father motioned for them to follow, and they did, and he led them to the entrance to the underworld, and they knew it was time for them to go back. And they did. And I wonder what the brother and sister thought about that. So just remember, every person and certainly every leader has maggots and gold, strengths and flaws. And in some way, the community helps us to deal with it, cleaning it, acknowledging it, polishing it. So I hope that we all recognize how to clean and refine both sides of ourselves with the help of others. All right, back to our normal way of letting out the Dharma here, at least my indulging myself, and I appreciate it so much for everybody who's helping me do this by tuning in and staying with me every now and then, giving me comments and continuing the conversation. Thanks so much. All right, so for my journal writing friends, or the people who I call elevate the conversation, who's doing the kind of work you wish you could be doing? Because even if you're doing work that you love that you're doing, there might be something else that you'd fantasize about doing or always wanted to do, even though you might be successful in doing what you're doing. So describe that work, what it must be like. Think about it yourself, share it with a friend, or let me know and I'll be glad to pong it back to you. What kind of work do you wish you could be doing? And describe what that work must be like if you were doing it. All right, now my teacher, BKS Anger, always says you climb according to your capacity. No one's holding you back. It's up to you. You can crawl, you can slow walk, you can hop, you can skip, you can run. It's up to you how fast you want to move in this path. But when you do it, you will have capacity because you learn confidence and clarity and compassion. Yoga is a fountain of life. And when you know how to make use of it, the whole world will revolutionize. I really am a believer that the East has come to the West to make a global understanding part of the human legacy. Now, everybody has to deal with what I call navigating in the dark, feeding your intuition, learning how to be shrewd, learning how to deeply connect to what the women teachers in my life have called La Que Sabe, she who knows, Mother Nature. Can't go wrong if you pay attention to the instinctive nature. Now, a lot of people don't do this, so their whole life, when they get to the end of their life, or toward the end of their life, their ego's in crisis. They're not in a state of integrity where they're accepting their death as the completion of their life. They're in despair. They haven't learned the wisdom of the detached concern for all of life. At least I hope if they have grandchildren, and even if they don't, they could tell the stories at the library to other people. It's time to listen to the stories of the grandparents, because they're the people who make you think life is worth it. Was the trip worth it? That's the final exam question. But for those who maladapt, disdain their experiences, don't trust their own worth, they don't think that the trip was worth it. I don't know if there's any good way to end life, but certainly not thinking it was worth being alive at all sounds rather like a path I don't want to take. Nonetheless, if you're going to do that, you have to value your own grief. A lot of people don't want to spend time in the sadness and mourning and loss. But if you do that, you're less of a human being. The only heart worth having is a broken heart. So talk about it, because talking leads to dexterity in expressing your feelings. You're not just like a lump on a log. You're not just like an oaf or a boor. Right? That's part of what our packaging is about, using our language to clearly express the depth of what we're feeling, what's going on, what we're thinking. But in order to do that, because the buck stops here. Right? You got to work on yourself. It's an individual path. Stop thinking that if we just had a different president, everything would change. Individual people have to step up, work on themselves, and offer the gifts that they've earned to the benefit of all society. Otherwise, you can't answer the question, what makes a human being? So stop infantilizing yourself. Work on yourself. Be the change you want to see in the world. It's never a static place like a tightrope walker. There's no such thing as a static balance. It's minute moving side to side. Like my teacher says, find the median plane in every pose and every limb. So we're always working, striking a balance, right? So do the best you can. And today and every day, send out thoughts of love, peace, healing, and blessing to every man, woman, and child on the planet without distinction. And if you do that, you did get the message.